His name was Ethan Miller, age 36, firefighter with Station 14. To the department, he was reliable, quiet, strong. He never talked much about himself. He volunteered for the hardest calls. He stayed late, covered extra shifts, never complained. Most people assumed he was just private. They had no idea what he was hiding. Earlier that evening, the call had come in as a 3-alarm fire. An old apartment complex, mostly low-income families, many of them immigrants, single parents, elderly tenants. The kind of place that didn't make headlines unless something went wrong. And something had. When Ethan's engine arrived, flames were already bursting from second-floor windows. People were screaming. A woman clutched a child, crying that her father was still inside. Smoke was thick, black, choking. Ethan didn't hesitate. He pulled on his mask and ran in. Inside, the heat was unbearable. Visibility was almost zero. He crawled through hallways by memory and instinct, tapping walls, calling out. His radio crackled with warnings, roof instability, low oxygen, but he kept moving. That's when he heard it. Coughing. Weak. From behind a collapsed doorway. He forced it open and found an elderly man pinned beneath fallen beams. The man's eyes widened when he saw Ethan, as if he couldn't believe help had actually come. "It's okay," Ethan shouted through his mask. "I've got you." It took everything he had. His arms shook as he lifted debris, the fire roaring louder, closer. His oxygen alarm began to beep, low air. Still, he didn't stop. He dragged the man out just as part of the ceiling gave way behind them. Outside, medics rushed forward. The man was alive. The crowd cheered. But Ethan staggered. He pulled off his mask, gasping, and that's when the memories hit him like a wave. And that's when he removed his helmet. Ethan hadn't always been a firefighter. When he was 10 years old, he had been trapped in a house fire in Dayton, Ohio. A faulty space heater. An old home. A single mother working a night shift. He remembered the smoke first. The way it burned his throat. The way the walls seemed to breathe heat. He remembered hiding in the bathroom, pressing a towel under the door like his mother had taught him. And then, darkness. Ethan survived. But his mother didn't. The scars on his head and neck came from that night. 3rd-degree burns. Months in the hospital. Years of surgeries. Kids at school stared. Some whispered. Others laughed. And worst of all, Ethan blamed himself. If he had screamed louder. If he had tried to run. If he had been stronger. That guilt followed him into adulthood like a shadow. Becoming a firefighter wasn't about bravery. It was about redemption. Back on the curb, with his helmet in his hands, Ethan felt exposed in a way he never had before. He had always kept his helmet on around crowds. It wasn't vanity, it was protection. From questions. From pity. From memories. A little girl stepped closer, holding her mother's hand. She looked up at Ethan, eyes wide. "Mom," she whispered, "that man saved Grandpa." The mother nodded, tears streaming down her face. She walked over. "Sir," she said softly, "thank you. You brought my father back to me." Ethan tried to respond, but his voice broke. "I'm just doing my job," he finally said. She shook her head. "No. You did more than that." People began to clap. Slowly at first. Then louder. Phones lowered. Conversations stopped. And in that moment, Ethan realized something had changed. For the first time, he didn't feel ashamed of the scars. He felt proud of what he had survived. The story didn't end there. A photo of Ethan standing silently with his helmet went viral overnight. People shared it with captions like, "This is real heroism," and "Strength you can't see." News stations wanted interviews. Ethan said no to most of them. But he agreed to one, on one condition. He wanted to talk about fire safety, about supporting burn survivors, and about why firefighters need mental health care too. During the interview, he removed his helmet again. "This isn't something to hide," he said. "It's proof that pain doesn't get the last word." Messages poured in. Burn survivors. Veterans. Parents. Kids who felt different. People who finally felt seen. Ethan started visiting schools, hospitals, support groups. Not as a hero, but as someone who understood. Months later, Ethan received a letter. It was from the elderly man he had rescued. Inside was a photo of a family birthday party. Grandkids smiling. Balloons. Cake. On the back, written in shaky handwriting. "Because you ran into the fire, I got to stay." Ethan sat quietly at the station that night, helmet resting beside him. For the first time since he was 10 years old, the fire no longer owned his story. He did. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that strength doesn't always look loud, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. More stories like this are coming, stories of hope, courage, and the hidden heroes among us. Because sometimes, the bravest thing someone can do is take off the helmet and let the world see the truth.